Today we're taking a look at a very quirky micro brand that takes inspiration from vintage toys. This is their attempt at a dive watch with an interchangeable bezel. So technically I would not call this a true dive watch. It's more of a dive style watch. However, it's in a great size, it's really nicely made, and it is a very interesting design. So let's flip the camera and take a look at the Lima Meca Revolt. So here is the watch. It looks very much like a vintage Omega in my opinion. However, you do get that very quirky crown. So the crown on here is in a bronze color. I believe it is bronze. And it's sort of inspired by toys, I believe, sort of a wind-up mechanism. You can see there's a lightning bolt for the second hand. It just says Lima right above the 6 o'clock index. This gets a sapphire crystal. It comes with two bezels, so there is the black and silver bezel, and then there is the silver and silver bezel. Very slab-sided, and also the lugs don't really turn down at all. However, it has a pretty tight lug to lug. I'll show you that in just a few seconds. The crown is very weird. I will do a few close-ups of the crown so you can see what I'm talking about. There's a little tab on it. It looks like something that would wind a toy, I guess, is what they're going for. I'll do close-ups of it so you can see from the top, from the side. It's actually very hard to operate, and I'll show you that in just a second as well. But the case back is really nice. The case back here is a lighthouse. There's a diver. It's etched, and it's, I believe, filled with enamel. Looks really cool. Screwed-in case back and a screwed-in crown. You get 200 meters of water resistance. The sapphire crystal on here is boxed and domed. So you have a very nice sapphire crystal, and that lightning bolt is in yellow. You do have lume on the dial. We will do a lume shot in just a minute. Very quickly, I'm going to show you the crown, then I'm going to show you how the bezel works, then I will throw it on my wrist. So the crown itself is not very grippy. It is a screwed-in crown, and that is part of the problem. So when you're unscrewing the crown, it's a little bit hard to do, but it's not that bad. So you unscrew it. There is no pop, so it doesn't pop out and let you know that it's actually disengaged or disengaged from the case. So that doesn't happen. And then when you screw it back in, it's not very grippy, so it's actually very, very hard to screw back in, and it's kind of easy to leave unscrewed. So basically, this is an aesthetic choice. They went with this because it looks cool, not because it's very functional. So that's kind of something to keep in mind if you have this watch on your list to buy. This also gets a Tropic rubber strap with quick release, and it is signed Lima right there, so the brand name right there. Really nice little package. I'm going to do measurements very quickly, and then I'll show you those bezels, or the extra bezel that it comes with. I believe each one comes with an extra bezel. At the bezel, it is just about 37 millimeters. At the case, it's just about 38 millimeters. The crown, again, on the smaller side because of the style of the crown, 5.4 millimeters. Inside, you do get an automatic movement. So this is 12 millimeters thick with 200 meters of water resistance. This does get a Miyota 8 series. So this is a Miyota 8S series inside, and it does hack. So this is a hacking movement, usually 8 series. It depends on if they are old or new, whether or not they hack. This one does. So 45.4 millimeters lug to lug. So, very quickly, let me show you how the bezels actually work. The other quirky thing about this watch is that the bezel is stationary. So, this is actually movable. You can see you could actually move it. However, in certain positions, it just comes off. That's because it's an interchangeable bezel. So, it's not a ratcheting bezel. It is a stationary bezel. So, when you want to put on the other bezel, you just literally let it line up, let it fall into place, and that's really it. You just turn it in one direction or the other. There you go. And it locks into place. And now the bezel won't come out, but it is stationary. So the bezel will not move. So this is the stainless steel bezel insert basically, and then this is the black. So it comes with both. I think it looks best on the black in my opinion, but that is my opinion. Price on this is $290. That comes with two bezels, the strap, really nice packaging that's inspired by vintage toys, and it's a really nice overall package, a really nice size. So very quickly, let me show you this watch on my wrist. But before I do, Today on my wrist, I have my Seamaster 1957 limited edition. I think a watch that probably heavily inspired this watch, but obviously not an homage. This watch that we're looking at today, the Lima, is not an homage to this watch. However, definitely inspired by it, especially the bezel. You sort of have, the bicolored bezel, the split bezel. Either way, I think there's some inspiration. Well, there you go. There it is on my 7.5 inch wrist. As I mentioned, this is around 12 millimeters thick with 200 meters of water resistance, powered by an 8 series Miyota movement. You're getting a sapphire crystal, which is boxed and domed, so that does add to the thickness. This is around a 38 millimeter watch with around a 45 millimeter or 46 millimeter lug to lug. Well, there's a lume. The hands are decently applied with lume. There is no lume on the second hand. I would love to see that. And the indices, obviously not very liberally applied with lume, and they are not lasting very long. The hands do last longer. However, I would like to see a little bit more lume on both the hands and a lot more lume on that dial. So there you go. It's a very quirky watch. Lots of interesting features to it as well. I really like the crown. I like the look of the crown. I just don't love the functionality. However, overall, I think this is a good looking watch, really nicely sized, with some really great inspiration behind it. Tell me what you guys think down in the comments below. I want to hear from you guys. What do you think of Lima? I've featured 2 of their watches here on my channel. The first one actually had a key that you use to actually wind the crown. So very interesting, very weird watches. And I hope they go in that direction. I hope they keep on making interesting, weird designs, because that's kind of what I like. Tell me what you guys think in the comments down below. Please also don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It's super helpful for the channel, and I very much appreciate it. Thanks for logging on.